All right, so Michael asked me real quick to explain what time fibs are. And I just basically want to show you how any movement, right, whether we measure it in terms of X or Y, we can use Fibonacci's because those are natural numbers or natural, expansion, contraction. So now I can take this move and see how it came back to that golden pocket and the 0.5. I could take this move, show how we eventually came back to the 0.618. I could take the full move, and I can show that we bounced off very close to the 0.5, right? Now, in addition, we have those extensions too. So, with Fibonacci, you could also say, our Elliott waves, measure that movement, come down over here, and after retracement, where do we end up hitting is the point 1.236, right? So you can imagine how wave 1 versus wave here, technically wave 3, you have size 1 and then size 1.236, okay? Now, that's going to be your price direction, right? Your Y direction. So let's flip it in terms of mathematically, make it an X direction. X direction meaning now we're going to measure time. So in here, we're going to go in here, you have your time, fib time zone, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, but we're still measuring that same first movement, you'll see, right? That first movement, now we're measuring left to right. Okay. And what we'll do here is it'll give us these measurements, and you can double click on this to see how, 0.618, right? Because they're just marking 1.618. These are all the different time, the values in terms of the multiples. Okay, so technically this is the 1.382 in terms of, right? What color was that real quick? That was the orange one, okay? So what you can imagine is that same thing, the orange one you could say is exactly that time, right? Now you can imagine it's not going to be as easy to really see, but you can see how things really reverted at certain time frames. And it's just kind of a expansion contraction version of something in terms of time. So let's, in here, if I took this and said, okay, right, did anything major happen? Yeah, at exactly, if you measure this time as 1 at exactly 0.618, right? Because this is at the bottom, at 0.618 was where you hit the retracement, and then you had another leg down. You see that? You can also go and say, okay, well, then it hit the bottom by this, which is 2.382, which is this orange line, which hit the bottom. So it kind of gives you an idea of after a move, how long it might take, right? Do you see how this took exactly the same amount of time to get to the bottom, right? And then this one is the top again. So time-wise, that actually matches up pretty well. You see that? Time-wise. This up and down, this down, up, and coming back down. So what this would likely try to say, and by the way, my numbers are down here. You can say, well, okay, reverted a little bit here. You could give it till at least the 3, right? Or maybe 3.382 to see if that hits the bottom. I think that'd be an interesting thing to see. Does it take that long? That is middle of October when you think about it, or even November where this may turn around, okay? Because right now we are bearish and we are expecting something similar, right? So if we wanted to do a prediction model here, I'm going to copy this again. Match it up to this. And you can see there's a possibility maybe this will come down toward here, right? You do this with SPY. I'm just using QQQ because that was what I was on here. Cool. Hope that helped. let me know what you see on your charts. If you want to put in a time fib, let me know, and let's see what happens and see what we might be able to predict. Because again, the world, the entire universe moves in these mathematical expansion and contraction numbers, and this does help us gauge how long some things may potentially take. All right, cool. Hope that helped.